Hello my fellow investors and welcome back to another video. Today I would like to go over a company that recently has been falling in price a massive amount. In fact, this is a 52-week low company, and just like I did with Intel, I would like to do with the company 3M, because this is a major company, and on top of that, guys, the fact that it's fallen down this much, as you guys are going to see in this video, may serve itself as a really good buying opportunity. However, we really do want to take a good look at their fundamentals, specifically their 10K. So this is going to be a major deep dive of a video into the core parts of this company, including their 10K. So this is probably going to be like an hour long plus video going through, well, their 10Ks. So this is pretty much what I do when I like to invest in a company, and I'm going to show everybody how I do this. Now, of course, this is not financial advice, as it never is. I'm going to go over the stuff that I like to look at, but then again, you guys should still take a look at it for yourself. So everything that you're about to see in this video will be linked in the description below. So with that said, let's actually get started with their 10Ks, and from this point on, I will not edit anything. You will see it raw. So with that said, let's get started with this analysis. Alright guys, so as I said, from here on there isn't going to be any editing. This will be raw, and of course I am going to show everybody timestamps below if you guys really just don't want to take a look at this part. After this, we're going to go right into the normal stock analysis kind of thing that we do, looking at their finances, or at least their fundamentals, like just on the 5-year, giving my opinions about it, and then what share price should we pay for this company. Again, from this point onward until that part of the video that I just mentioned, based off of the discounted free cash flow calculator, will not be edited. So let's get started with this. Now we got over here the accelerating our transformation, and this is pretty much their 2022 annual report, as you can see right over here. Now let's actually scroll down a little bit. I already took a look at what I want to look at when it comes to this company. And we got over here, actually you guys can see my what I was already looking at right there. But anyways, let's actually read this. We got over here, accelerating 3M's transformation. In 2022, we focus on delivering for our customers and shareholders in a challenging economic environment, and taking actions that are foundational to defining our path forward. We address inflation through price actions and proactively reduce costs and structure as demand softened throughout the year. To navigate supply chains disruptions, we did what was necessary to serve our customers, improve cycles times, and manage inventory, which included moving products in different ways, opening a new distribution center in the United States. That's interesting. So that will probably increase their capital expenditures, and utilizing new capabilities to better manage our flow and goods in real time. We navigated COVID-related lockdowns in China, reached agreements with Flemish government, Flemish? I don't know what that is. I don't know what government that is, honestly. To restart operations is sure. Okay, so I'm guessing that's the Belgium. Okay, well, I didn't know that's how that was called. Interesting. And exited our Russian business. So this was probably due to the fact that, you know, Russia invaded Ukraine. So that's going to be a major hit, guys. Not even going to lie. Like the fact that they just exited the Russian business. Russia's a massive country with probably a lot of demand. So that's going to be a damper on their business. Now, let's actually come over here and says, as always, we rolled out our innovations to solve customers' needs across the marketing leading business. In safety and industrial, for example, new robotic paint repair systems received prestigious In safety and industrials, for example, our new robotic paint repair system received prestigious industry honors. Our consumer business launched Scotch Cushion Lock, a sustainable alternative to plastic bubble wrap that was recognized by Fast Company as the world's changing ideas. Okay. We advanced our leadership in wound care, which includes a negative pressure wound therapies, becoming the first solution of its kind to surpass 2,000 peer-reviewed studies. And in transportation and electronics, we introduced a new thermal barriers films to improve performance of electric car batteries. So the whole electric car industry, you know, it's rather new right now, and hopefully it will continue to reach, or at least it will continue to get better. Especially, again, the main problem with electric cars is the battery. And if they're able to help with this, apparently create a new thermal barrier films to improve the performance of such batteries, that might actually be really, really good. Just one element of our just one element of our $500 million automotive electrification platform, which delivered 30% organic growth in 2022. To accelerate our innovative pipeline, we invested $3.6 billion in a combination of research and development and capital expenditures. Over the past 5 years, our scientists have earned an average of 3,500 patents per year. Okay, let's actually come over here now. We are accelerating our transformation into leaner, more focused company. Organic growth company-wide was 1.2%, which included a 2% point headwind from the decline of disposable respirators demand and our exit of Russia. Pretty much saying that 2% headwind decline was because of the fact that COVID is no longer a thing, or at least is becoming less of an issue, and on top of that, their exit from Russia. We delivered earnings per share of $10.18 or $10.10 adjusted basis while strengthening our balance sheet and reducing total debt by $1.4 billion. That's actually really, really good. We generated $5.6 billion in operating free cash flow, enabling us to invest in our businesses and return $4.8 billion to shareholders through dividends and share repurchases. Now, I really want to get into that dividend part because, there's actually some major problems when it comes to that dividend as it currently stands. Now, let's actually come over here and it says creating long-term shareholder value through healthcare spin. Now, this actually came as a surprise because, well, as I said, I kind of already read through this, and this is actually fairly interesting because I was not aware that this occurred or is occurring, and on top of that, something else occurred as well. We're going to take a look at that right now. We actively manage our portfolio to unlock value for shareholders. In July, we announced, remember, this is July 2022. We announced, in July, we announced our plan to spin off our healthcare business. So they decided, guys, to completely get rid of their healthcare business, creating two well-capitalized world-class companies with greater focus and better position to drive growth and innovation. 3M will remain a global material science leader aligned to key megatrends such as electronic safety, mobility, and sustainability. The standalone healthcare business will be a leading global technology company focused on wound care, oral care, healthcare, IT, and biopharma filtration. Now, this is actually major because, well, this means that this entire portion of their revenue, at least moving forward, at least when they completely spin off their healthcare section, guys, will be completely removed from their total revenues. That is a big chunk that's just going to be completely gone, right? Now, here's something also that caught me by surprise. In addition, last year we divested our food and safety businesses. I was also not aware of this. And let's actually take a look at exactly what this actually was, because this one is very, very interesting. So let's actually come over here. I already have this open. 3M finalized the separation of its food safety business and merger of the business with Neogen, except shares tendered in exchange offer. We got over here St. Paul, Minnesota, whatever. This was on September 1st of last year. So, announced today both the successful completion of a split-off exchange offer for 3M common stock in connection with previously announced separation of 3M's food safety business and the closing of the merger of Garden Spinco Corporation, a 3M subsidiary holding the food safety business with a subsidiary of Neogen Corporation. Neogen, pursuant to the merger, Spinco is now a wholly owned subsidiary of Neogen. In the merger, each share of Spinco common stock was converted into the right to receive one share of Neogen common stock. As a result, 3M stockholders who tendered shares of 3M common stock in the exchange offer and whose shares were accepted will receive approximately 6.7713 shares of Neogen common stock, subject to the receipt of the for each share of 3M common stock accepted for exchange. Pursuant to the exchange offer, which expired at 11:59 p.m. New York time in August 31st, 2022, 3M has accepted 15,989,536 shares of 3M common stock in exchange for 108,269,946 shares of the Spinco company common stock. Because more than 15 1,989,536 shares of 3M common stock were tendered. All shares of SpinCo common stock owned by 3M were distributed in the exchange offer, and no shares were distributed in a pro rata distribution to 3M stockholders. Earlier today, 3M announced a preliminary proration factor of approximately 6.95%. Well, we all quote here, quote, "We believe our food safety business will be well positioned with Neogen, and we are pleased to close the transaction," said Mike Roma, 3M's chairman and CEO. By building a global innovator in food safety, the business will bring customers to a broader offerings of technology and solutions while unlocking greater value for shareholders. In addition to the exchange offer, reducing outstanding 3M shares by approximately 16 million shares, or approximately 3% of the outstanding shares. 3M also received a consideration value approximately $1 billion prior to the closing and other adjustments that will be deployed in line with the company's regular capital allocation priorities. The transaction involved a tax-free reverse Morris Trust transaction structure, which is intended to be a tax efficient to 3M and 3M shareholders for the United States for U.S. federal income taxes purposes. 3M expects to record a gain on the third quarter of 2022 associated with these transactions, and to reflect it as an adjustment in arriving at results and adjusted for special items. So that was actually a major change, guys, overall. The fact that not only are they saying that they're going to get rid of the healthcare business, but they have already gotten rid of their food and safety business. Now, if we continue on to read over here, let's actually come up here. Let's just keep reading over here. Let's see. In addition to the last, we divested our food and safety business. We received approximately $1 billion in consideration, reducing the share by 60 million. We divested our floor products business in Western Europe while acquiring the technology asset of LeanTech, a provider of digital management solutions for the automotive and aftermarket segment. With respect to legal matters, here we go. This is actually major right here. With respect to legal matters, we are focused on addressing combat arms and PFAS litigation by defending ourselves in court or negotiating resolutions as appropriate. Now, you guys know that 3M actually had a major scandal in regards to the whole earplug situation. Apparently, the earplugs that they were selling did not work. So that was a major issue, and I believe it still is a major issue. And the whole PFAS thing, this is interesting because this just came out of nowhere. Now, let's actually keep reading and see if they address this in any type of way. So we got over here. Last year, we also announced we will exit all PFAS manufacturing and work to eliminate PFAS in our products by the end of 2025. While PFAS can be safely made and used, our decision is based on careful consideration of the external landscape, including regulatory trends and changing stakeholder expectations. We have already reduced our use of PFAS through ongoing research and development, and will continue to innovate new solutions for customers. So what in the world are PFAS? Because this is the first time I actually have heard of this. Yeah, I'm not really that, I guess, afraid of like any of these like crazy chemicals, because, you know, it's like they find something weird or like something bad every other day, right? So nonetheless, though, I still want to figure out what in the world these PFAS are, because clearly 3M sees it as a major problem, to the point that they are removing that by 2025, so in about 2 years from now. So this is from the CDC, and it says per and polyfluorinated substances, otherwise known as PFAS fact sheets. The per and polyfluoroalkyl substance, PFAS, are a group of chemicals used to make fluoropolymer coating and products that resist heat, oil, stains, grease, and water. Fluoropolymer coatings can be in a variety of products. These include clothing, furniture, adhesives, food packaging, heat-resistant non-stick cooking services, and I believe this is actually where I heard that initial, I guess, news from. I just didn't realize it was PFAS. But yeah, I believe just a couple months ago when it was like a whole thing that like people are saying, you know, make sure you change your cooking stuff, not cooking stuff, your pots and pans, because apparently the coating that they have, like the inside coating that they have, that's like the non-stick coating, that has this thing that has the PFAS in it, and that's causing like major problems. I actually heard about that news. I just didn't realize it was called PFAS, but that's very, very interesting. And the insulation of electrical wire. Many PFAS, including perfluorooctane, sulfonic acid, PFAS, okay, these are just words, man, are concerned because they do not break down in the environment. Yeah, they're called like forever chemicals, if I'm not mistaken, can move through soils and contaminate drinking water sources, build up, bioaccumulate in fish and wildlife. So you can see that, yeah, there's a lot of stuff going on with this. And how PFAS affects people's health. Human health effects from exposure to low environment levels of PFAS are uncertain. Studies of laboratory animals given large amounts of PFAS indicate that some PFAS may affect growth and development. In addition, these animal studies indicate PFAS may affect reproduction, thyroid function, the immune system, and injure the liver. Well, this is all great and dandy. That sounds absolutely wonderful to hear. Epidemiology, okay, epidemiologic studies of PFAS exposures evaluated several health effects. Descriptions of these studies are available at the website. More research is necessary to assess the health. Okay, so you can see that this is not a good thing, which explains why 3M is considering just taking them away. Now, as you guys can see here, they said that we'll continue to innovate new solutions because, well, at the end of the day, guys, you know, they're gonna definitely have to find an alternative to this stuff, especially if they were to use it a lot. Anyways, let's go on with this. We simplified the streamline our supply chain organization and advanced our digital strategies to better serve customers. This includes expanding our use of data analytics and better serve customers and improve our operational agility. In 2022, we continue to follow through on sustainability goals, including our $1 billion commitment to achieve carbon neutrality to reduce water use, improve water quality, and reduce use of plastics. Great. So I actually want to come down here now and take a look at their financial results. Specifically, if we further come down here, when we go to our business, this separates pretty much their businesses into the 4 segments. So we got here safety and industrial, transportation and electronics. And we can see that when it comes to, actually, no. Let's come up here first, because right here, when it comes to the whole 2022 financial results, this pie over here tells us that the safety and industrials make up around 34% of their revenue. Transportation and electronics makes up 26%. Healthcare, which they're planning to spin off, makes up 25%. And the consumer, which has already gone, like they already sold it off, makes up 15%. So right now, guys, this section right here of the consumer is just completely gone. So 15% of the revenue, boom, completely gone. And pretty soon, 25% of the revenue will also be gone as well once they get rid of, or at least once they spin off their healthcare business. So that means that, what is that? 40% of their revenue will soon be completely gone. That's kind of concerning, not even going to lie. Mainly because, well, it has to do mainly with that dividend, and I want to get to that later. But nonetheless, though, we can see that over here, the safety and industrials bring to 3M around $11.6 billion worth of growth. The transportation and electronics makes up $8.9 billion. Now, the consumer part, again, this part's already gone, makes up around $5.3 billion, at least in 2022. And the healthcare one makes up about $8.42 billion. So, you know, this will pretty much go away. This one's already gone. I'm assuming that they're saying it because, well, they still had the consumers section or segment part of their portfolio or of their business prior to that of September. So they had it for the majority of the year, and obviously they're going to have it, you know, in their 2022 results if they still had it. But you know, we're going to see a lot of the impacts of not having consumers. I believe that we already saw this in Q4, if I'm not mistaken. But I really am curious to see how this will be affected further down the line, right? Because, I mean, having one quarter doesn't really tell us much. I'd rather have like an entire year to see how not having a certain part of their business does affect the whole thing. And then once we get rid of the healthcare segment, that's going to make another impact. So yeah, let's actually now, guys, come down here to their financial summary, because This is very, very interesting as well. We can see that in 2021, they did $35.35 billion in net sales. However, in 2022, this came down to 34.23. Now, this could be attributed to the fact that for an entire quarter, right, for the last quarter, they didn't have it because they did close this merger of their consumer segment in September 1st. So the beginning of literally like the first day of Q4. So maybe that's why they missed out by $1 billion or so. That's what I'm tempted to guess around here. Now, and regarding the other stuff though, well, there's actually one more thing I want to point out, and that is, guys, this cash dividends paid, because it's major. This is a pretty big drop from 2021 to 2022, 3.42 billion to 3.37 billion. Let's just say that. However, this could be attributed to the fact that they have been buying back a lot of shares, and I'm talking about like a lot of shares, guys. They have been buying back a ton of shares. That's a good thing. However, there's just a bunch of other stuff that we have to talk about when it comes to this, because, well, as I just said, guys, they are spinning off their healthcare segment, and they already took out their consumers. So if that kind of revenue is just getting completely nuked from them, there is no possible way that they can keep out this dividend as they have it today. That's, again, very, very concerning, because their dividend is massive and they have 60 plus years of dividend payment. Now, I actually want to come into now the SEC Form 10K. So what we just read has nothing to do with the 10K. Now we're actually heading into the 10K. And one of the main things that I really want to take a look at is this risk factors, because this is huge. So let's actually come over here and look up risk factors over here. Factors. And let's go straight to that if possible right here. Okay, so this is huge. Okay. Risk factors. Provided below is a cautionary discussion of what we believe to be the most important risk factors applicable to the company. Discussion of these factors is incorporated by reference into the considered an integral part of Part 2, Item 7, Management Discussion Analysis, blah, blah, blah. Okay, so this is where the fun begins. Now, risk related to the global economy and public health crisis. This is mainly, guys, talking about COVID-19 here in this paragraph, as well as the Russia-Ukraine war right over here, and then climate change. That's pretty much the TLDR when it comes to those three paragraphs. If you guys would like to read it, you guys can go ahead and read it. However, I am more concerned about right over here, right? As previously reported, governments in the United States and internationally have increasingly been regulating a broad group of substances produced by the company, collectively known as PFAS. 3M has noticed several global regulatory trends related to PFAS, including declining emission standards and limits set as to the presence of certain compounds in various media, and the inclusion of broadening group of PFAS. Developments in these and other global regulatory trends may require additional actions by 3M, including investigation, remediation, and compliance, or may result in additional litigation to enforce actions costs. I.e., guys, they essentially just want to go to court with this and try to fight it. That's essentially what that means. The company has been voluntarily cooperating with various local, state, and federal, primarily in the United States Environmental Protection Agency (EPA) and international agencies in their review of the environmental and health effects of certain PFAS produced by the company. PFAS group contains several categories and classes of durable chemicals and materials with properties that include oil, water, temperature, chemical, and fire resistance, as well as electrical insulating properties. The strength of the carbon-fluorine bond also means that these compounds do not easily degrade. These characteristics have made PFAS substances critical to the manufacture of electronic devices such as cell phones, tablets, and semiconductors. They are also used to help prevent contamination of medical products like surgical gowns and drapes. I did not know that. Wow. Commercial aircraft and low emissions vehicles also rely on PFAS technology. PFAS compounds are manufactured by various companies, including 3M, and are also in everyday products, including some manufactured by 3M. As science and technology evolve and advance, and in response to evolving knowledge and the understanding of certain PFAS compounds had the potential to build up over time, 3M announced in 2000 that we would voluntarily phase out production of two PFAS substances PFOA, and PFOS globally as a precautionary measure. We phased out the materials used to produce certain repellents and surfactants products, with most of these activities in the United States completed by the end of 2002. So it only took them 2 years to do that. Phased out products include aqueous films forming foam and certain coatings for food packaging, for example. The company continued to review and control to eliminate the presence of PFAS in purchased materials as intended. Okay. 3M announced in December 2022 it will take 2 actions exiting all PFAS manufacturing by the end of 2025. So again, 2 years to get rid of all this, and working to discontinue the use of PFAS across its product portfolio by the end of 2025. So not just the 2, but like get rid of pretty much all of them. 3M's decisions based on careful consideration and a thorough evaluation of the evolving external landscape, including multiple factors such as accelerating regulatory trends focused on reducing or eliminating the presence of PFAS in the environment and changing stakeholder expectations. The company recognized $0.8 billion pre-tax charge in the fourth quarter of 2022 associated with the announcement of related to the assets impairments, and will incur additional expenses in connection with its exit activities. In addition, these two announced actions, the exit involved risks, including the actual timing, costs, and financial impact of such exit. The company has the ability to complete such exit on the anticipated timing or at all. Potential governmental or regulatory actions relating to PFAS manufacturing and production, or the company's exit plan. The company's ability to identify and manufacture acceptable substitutes for the discontinued products, and the possibility that such substitutes will not achieve the anticipated or desired commercial or operational results. The potential litigation relating to the company exit plan, and the possibility that the planned exit will involve a greater cost than anticipated or otherwise have negative impacts on the company's relationship with its customers and other counterparties. That was a mouthful. That is absolutely insane, guys. Oh my god. So you can see that the whole PFAS thing is going to be a major problem, especially if they cannot find a good alternative to this. Now, the next thing that I would like to look up has to do with the lawsuits that they have recently had. Obviously, the whole PFAS thing, that's a lawsuit. And the other lawsuit was with the whole earplug stuff. So let's actually type over here lawsuits, and let's see if we can find anything regarding the lawsuit. So these are the lawsuits. Actually, let's read that a little bit there because this is interesting. 3M currently is defending lawsuits concerning various PFAS. So they already have lawsuits concerning this, guys. Concerning various PFAS related products and chemistries, and subject to unasserted and asserted claims of government regulatory proceedings and inquiries related to the production and use of PFAS in a variety of jurisdictions, as discussed in Note 16, Commitments and Contingencies. Within the notes of consolidated financial statements, 3M has seen increased public and private lawsuits being filed on behalf of states, counties, cities, and utilities alleging among, did I read that correctly? Yes, I did. Among other things, harm to the general public and damages to natural resources, some of which are pending in the aqueous film. Okay. Aqueous film forming foam. We read about this. Multi-district litigation, and some of which are pending in other jurisdictions. Various factors or developments in these and other disclosure could result in the future changes that could have a material adverse effect on 3M. Okay, so here's the thing when it comes to this, right? The whole PFAS thing has to do with their consumer segment part of the company, but they just completely got rid of that. However, notice how they still have this litigation going on. And let's see if I can actually find this, because I read this. Let's see if I can actually find this. Apparently, even though they are letting go of the spinoff, guys, it turns out that they're still keeping the litigation. Like they spun it off, but the litigation, 3M, the main company, still has it. So let me see if they can actually find it over here. Let's see. 3M employees a global food transaction dedicated to safety. Separate argument, healthcare resulting in 2 world-class companies position their respective. Oh man, I know I read it. No, I read it. I just do not know where. Maybe it was over here, because I also have this one pulled up as well, guys, which says to announce the spinoff of the healthcare. So we already, we kind of already read that, but they also publicly announced this as well. Now, what I'm very, very curious about here, okay, right over here, yeah. So this one's actually in, again, 3M, in the 3M site, the news details, but then this news is just pretty much saying the whole spinoff for the healthcare business. So yeah, this is something that I probably should have showed you guys while we went over that, but oh well, I'm showing you guys right now. But basically, if we come all the way over here, 3M will retain responsibility for non-healthcare related litigation, including these related to combat arms and earplugs and PFAS. So just because they're spinning off the healthcare and also the consumers part, they're still keeping, they're still retaining the responsibility for this. And yeah, that's very, very concerning, to say the least. So, you would think that, okay, we're getting rid of, this part, we're good. But yeah, no, they're still paying for this whole entire litigation part when it comes to the earplugs as well as the PFAS. Now, the next thing that I would like to see is the earplug situation. So let's continue searching up over here the whole litigation or lawsuits part of it. Let's see over here. Outcomes which are uncertain and have relied heavily on the company. Since the lawsuits claim to involve a series of complex search. I wonder. I know I read this as well. Just 1 second, everybody. Let's see if I can actually find this. Let me see if I could type in earplugs, maybe. Earplugs. One word, maybe. Let's see. One word. Earplugs. I believe that this is it. Let's see. Yep. Okay. Yeah. This is 100% it, everybody. This is it right over here. So in the first quarter of 2022, the company changed the extent of matters in charge, benefits, and includes special items with respect to the net cost of litigation previously included in net. Hang on, no, this is not what I want. Allegation related to the. No, I want them to specifically talk about this. I believe it's this one, if I'm not mistaken. No, it's combat. I believe it's this. On July 26, 2022, Aero Technologies and certain of its related entities, Aero entities, all wholly owned subsidiaries of the company, voluntarily initiated Chapter 11 proceedings seeking bankruptcy court supervision to establish a trust funded by the company to address potential liabilities related to the dual-ended combat arms version 2 earplugs and mask respirator products historically manufactured and sold by Aero entities. This represents a change in the strategy for managing the combat arms version 2 earplugs and Aero respirator mask and asbestos alleged litigation liabilities. Aero entities were acquired by the company in 2008, and they, along with its related subsidiaries, have operated as the company's subsidiaries since that time. 3M has entered into a funding agreement with Aero entities and committed to fund a trust to satisfy all claims determined to the entitled compensation and support Aero entities as they continue to operate during Chapter 11 proceedings. There are a number of risks and uncertainties associated with Chapter 11 proceedings, including, among others, those related to the legal risk related to Chapter 11 proceedings, potential impacts to the company's reputation, and relationship with its customers, suppliers, federal contracting officials, employees, regulators, and other counterparties, and community members. Impacts to the company's liquidity or results of operations, including risk of related to the amount that will be necessary to fully and finally resolve all of the company's obligations to make payments to resolve such claims under the terms of its funding and indemnification. Wow, that's a word. Agreement with Aero. Okay. The cost of Chapter 11 proceedings and lengths of time necessary to resolve the case of Aero entities' ability to reach acceptable agreements with claimants and navigate the Chapter 11 proceedings to obtain approval and consummation of a planned reorganization. Due to the inherent uncertainty of the litigation, the company cannot predict the timing, outcome, or financial impact of this matter or any other ongoing future litigation. And I gotta say as well, everybody, the whole earplug lawsuit situation, it is a major problem. Like, this thing is still developing even in 2023. In fact, we got over here earplug lawsuits news, and this is from the company, or yeah, this is from Lawsuit Information Center. And we can see that, well, as of March 31st, we're still getting news when it comes to this. However, take a look at this. As of March 24th, new 3M lawsuits continue to be filed. Alvarez versus 3M is an example of a new 3M earplug lawsuit filed on March 23rd, 2023. So this isn't even like that long ago, guys. This isn't even like, this is less than 10 days away, or 10 days apart from as I'm recording this video. So, sorry, not less than. It's been a little bit more than 10 days since I'm recording this video. But still, though, it's like right there, right? So, very interesting. It says the plaintiff, a Florida resident, alleges that she used the dual-ended combat arms earplug and that she suffered partial hearing loss and tinnitus on her left and right ears. The hearing loss was presumably suffered during her time in the military, although the details is not provided, but the short term, okay, go with that. The suit's name, all the possible defendants, including, great. Regardless, though, guys, you can see that you got more news over here on March 17th, March 10th, where you got over here, Judge Rogers isn't buying their methods for testing whether their military earplugs cause hearing loss. She called it problematic in a filing today because the testing approach leaves out the two hearing frequencies that are most commonly affected by noise. So, you know, they were showing like ways that, oh no, like we did test this, but apparently their test wasn't using the most commonly frequencies, right? The most common frequencies that people are usually under when it comes to like the military or like in the workplace or something like that. So this is very interesting to say the least. So this whole earplug situation, guys, is absolutely massive, so very interesting. It's just, honestly, that's like the main issue I have when it comes to the whole 3M situation. It's mainly that earplug part, because well, let me actually see if I can find the exact number of lawsuits that 3M actually has, because it's massive. And let me actually see if I can find it over here. I believe it's like 230,000, guys. I'm not even joking about that. Let's see if I can find it. Maybe 230. Is it around 230? Oh man, no, I won't be able to find it. Let's just see if I could put lawsuit. See if I can put lawsuits back up. And I really would like to show everybody that number, because the number is absolutely insane. Let's see. Multiple co-defendants resolved, including lawsuits. 2 lawsuits in California, pending expected lawsuits. Oh man. Here's another one, mask and asbestos litigation as well. So this is in April 2008. A subsidiary of the company acquired the stock Arrow Holding. The parent, okay, whatever. Arrow manufactures and sold various products, including personal protection equipment such as eye, ear, head, face, and fall, and certain respiratory protection products. Where's the part where it says the lawsuit though? Like, where does the sentence actually start? Okay, hang on a minute. Respiratory businesses, American Optical, Warner, okay, whatever, are named defendants with multiple co-defendants, including the company, in numerous lawsuits in various courts. The plaintiffs allege the use of masks and respirator products and seek damages from Arrow and other defendants for alleged personal injury from workplace exposures to asbestos. So pretty much that it just didn't work. In July 2022, Arrow Technologies and certain other related entities voluntarily initiated Chapter 11 proceedings under the U.S. bankruptcy. That's major. That's actually major, because if we actually come back over here to lawsuit information, there's something where they say over here, there is some interesting perspective in the comments below from soldiers, plaintiffs, and 3M earplugs. Just going back to the earplugs thing. However, this is mainly the part that I wanna mention in regards to what we just read. Our lawyers also provided some excellent graphs and charts on how these lawsuits are going that we have updated in March 2023 to reflect the latest 3M verdict. Failed effort by 3M to hide behind bankruptcy court. Interesting. Failed effort. So they're trying to hide behind bankruptcy court in order not to pay for this. but apparently it's just not working. Like, judges are like, nah, we don't believe you when it comes to this, man. So very, very interesting. But I still would like to see if I could find the exact number of lawsuits over here, because it's like if I can't find it, it was like 230,000 lawsuits. I'm not even joking about that. So that's a lot of lawsuits, and you know, they could fight it for however long, but at the end of the day, you know, they're gonna have to end up paying this. So I just that's actually a major problem, at least when it comes to investing. And well, yeah, it's just, it is what it is. But anyways, let's actually come over here and let's I guess now move over. That's pretty much all I want to show everybody. Let's actually now move over into the discounted free cash flow. And again, none of this was going to be edited. The discounted free cash flow part will be. Let's actually see what kind of price we should pay for this company, seeing all of this new development with the fact that, I mean, we just found out that they're losing their consumer services, not their consumer services, sorry. The fact that they lost their consumer segment, and that they're losing their healthcare segment as well, while still keeping the whole litigations part of it. So that's fairly concerning. So the stock price has fallen down a significant amount. Let's see if at the current share price, this is looking like a buy. So with that said, now let's move over into the discounted free cash flow. So we are over here, guys, in the spreadsheet. We got the ticker symbol for MMM, market cap of $56 billion, PE of 9.98. Really, really low PE. This is going to be interesting because with the current share price of $100.56, yeah, this is actually all-time, not when they say all-time lows, but they are very, very close to 52-week lows. So looking at this graph now, we can see that on the 1 year, they're down 32.43%. Year to date, guys, down 17.07%. You can see that at the start of the year, they were at 122. They reached a peak on January 13th of $129.51. And so far, guys, well, you know, they're down to 101. If we look at the 52-week range, lowest is $100.16. The highest, guys, is $154.66. And unfortunately for me, I was buying this company before I knew all about, you know, the 10K was, or like reading fundamentals, any of that stuff. So unfortunately, I bought at around this area over here. Yeah, I feel really, really sad about that because, well, I already know what the discounted free cash flow says. So it's unfortunate, but I'm fairly done on this company. But at the same time, it's like, honestly, I'm even thinking about not even holding them anymore because this is fairly bad. Like, all the lawsuit situation, again, is fairly bad. Now, going back into this discounted free cash flow, this is a major part as well. They pay out a dividend of $6 per share. And, well, the reason why this is really bad is because this is a massive yield, almost 6%, a payout ratio of 59.01%, a 5-year CAGR of 4.1%, with 64 consecutive years of dividend payment. Ex-dividend date passed as of February 16th. Payout date was on March 12th. And of course, they do pay the dividends quarterly. Now, the reason why I'm saying that this is a major problem is because we just saw that they have completely merged out their consumer segment, and they're about to get rid of their healthcare segment as well. So that means that the revenue from these two segments are going to be completely gone. And on top of that, as I said several times, that they're keeping their litigations from these two segments. Yeah. So the fact of the matter is that I just don't believe that they'll be able to continue this $6 or the 6% yield on this dividend. First of all, even if they didn't have the litigation going on, guys, that is still a massive yield. And the sad part about all of this is that, unfortunately, if they don't increase this every single year, they're going to lose this 64 consecutive years of dividend payment. They are a dividend king. So I don't necessarily know how they're going to maneuver this because, well, again, they're going to lose all of their revenue when it comes to these segments. So if they're going to lose all of this revenue, how are they going to pay for this $6 dividend, or even that increase it? Unless they do like a really small increase. I just don't really see it. Again, that is very concerning. The amounts paid in dividends per year, it is around $3.3 billion, which based off of their 5-year average free cash flow, they're still left with $2 billion. And as of the last year's free cash flow, it is $546 million. Now, these payout ratios are actually really bad. Take a look at this. 85.77% for the last year's free cash flow and 62.1% for the 5-year average. So the 5-year average, they are just above my 60% cutoff. However, the last year's free cash flow is absolutely awful. Absolutely awful. So yeah, this is very, very concerning. This is very, very concerning because, again, this last year's free cash flow is taking into account when they still had some of their consumer segment, and they still have all of their healthcare segment. However, that consumer segment is gone. So I don't know. And then when they get rid of their healthcare segment, that's going to be gone as well. So this will probably go up, and I personally foresee that this dividend may either get cut or just won't get increased in the near future. So with that said, let's actually take a look at these fundamentals, starting of course with the net income 5 years ago of $5.35 billion to 1 year ago of $5.78 billion, increase of 8%. We can see a fairly consistent increase overall, except for 4 years ago. And you can see after that, following COVID, they went up. Following post-COVID, 1 year after COVID, still went up. But then as of 1 year ago, they came back down. Probably because, again, they no longer had that segment for the consumer part. So overall, I'm actually going to give this a fairly passing grade of I would say like an 80%. Now, looking at the free cash flow, this one is where the concern is coming from, because 5 years ago, they did $4.86 billion to 1 year ago of $3.8 billion, decrease of 21% with an average of $5.31 billion. They reached their peak during COVID, and then after that, they just kept falling down. This probably explains why the share price on the 52-week high is that high, because I'll be honest with you guys, I was seeing this company at $180, but the 180 was during COVID, believe it or not. So, it was a one-time thing. A lot of people thought that, oh, this is the way that's going to be now. No, man, we went back to normal fairly quickly, in my personal opinion. So the fact that we had a pandemic, and that's the reason why this thing went up. It's very similar to Clorox, by the way, and that's the reason why this thing went up. Yeah, probably not gonna happen again. So unfortunately, the free cash flow, I'm gonna have to give this thing like a 25%, because again, it's just very, very situational as to why this thing went up in the first place. Now, looking at the revenue, fairly consistent, $32.76 billion 5 years ago to $34.23 billion 1 year ago, increase of a little bit less than 4.5%. Once again, it's just been flat. Like, it really just has been flat. It hasn't been going up. Don't get me wrong, it has been going up, but it hasn't been consistently going up. So I unfortunately cannot give this thing like a 70, because, well, it's just not consistently going up, and it is what it is. So I'm actually going to go with around I would say like a 45. Now I'm going to go with like a 50%, honestly, because it's not decreasing just yet, but it's just not what I would like from a company that I would like to see consistently growing revenue. Now, looking at the total assets minus total liabilities, this one actually isn't looking too bad. We got over here consistent increases pretty much, right? All except for from 2 to 1 year ago. But again, that's kind of understandable in a way. Average total assets, it is $46.4 billion. Average liabilities, it is $32.8 billion. And doing this difference, we get $13.5 billion. Now, we did see that they are reducing their total debts. So that's actually really, really good to know. And this may actually cause their assets minus liabilities to go up, seeing that their liabilities is coming down. So I'm actually gonna give this a little bit of a higher grade. I would say like at around like a 75%. Now, taking a look at the cash flow minus the liabilities, we can see that their cash flow has gone pretty much nowhere. In fact, it's actually gone down. So not surprising that this is still not looking too good. Now, the lowest point was 4 years ago at negative $29.2 billion. They increased it from 4 to 3 to 2 years ago. But again, that pretty much just follows the entire cash flow line, right? So not really surprising there. As soon as their cash flow fell back down again as of 1 year ago, you can see that this thing also fell back down to, well, actually it just got lower into the negatives to negative $27.8 billion. In fact, this is actually lower than that of 3 years ago. Not as low as the 4 years ago, but still fairly close, and still lower than that of their average of negative $26.54 billion. So I'm gonna have to give this guys like a 40% as a grade. Now, in regards to the shares outstanding, this is interesting because they have not been consistently buying back shares, but they have been not issuing too many shares, as you guys can clearly see. 5 years ago of 576.6 million shares to today of 549.2 million shares. That is a decrease on the 5-year of 4.75%, and from the previous year to the current year, it's another decrease of almost 4%. You can see here that they did go up as of from 4 to 3 years ago, but again, that could be COVID explained. They didn't even go up by that much, only by around like 2 million shares or so, but then they brought it back down from 3 to 2 years ago from 577.7 to 572.8, and then they continue to be bringing it down even more. So that's really, really good to see overall. I'm going to give this a fairly decent grade of like a 95%. Again, that one increase of shares may not be too bad. And lastly, looking at the cash and equivalents, they currently hold $3.65 billion with an average of $3.62 billion. So looking at the overall grades, we gave the net income guys an 80%, free cash flow 25%, revenue 50%, assets minus liabilities 75%, cash flow minus liabilities 40%, shares outstanding of 95%, overall grade of 58%. So fairly bad. Right, fairly bad for such a big company. And well, it is what it is. The main problem here that they have is that free cash flow. And if they were to fix that free cash flow, this cash flow minus liabilities would be a whole lot better, but unfortunately it's not. So final grade of 58%. Now, problem is that now coming into this kind of free cash flow, we get to see if at the current share price, again, this is pretty near 52-week lows. Is the share price at $101 a good price to buy it, or does this thing still need to fall even more? Let's find out. So coming into the discounted free cash flow, everybody. Yeah, you can see that I already input some of the numbers, and well, the revenue growth I'm getting from Seeking Alpha's growth tab, and we can see that the forward is estimated at 2.41%. I am so sorry about that. Negative 2.41%. That's right, guys. Seeking Alpha is expecting a forward revenue of negative 2.41%. That's really, really bad. So seeing that we just read their 10K, seeing that they have a ton of problems, I'm going to follow along with that. I'm actually going to say for the lowest assumption, guys, a revenue of negative 5%. For the median, I'm going to say negative 3%. And for the best assumption, guys, let's say 0%. That they pretty much keep it the same. We have seen that the revenue is pretty stagnant. Now, for the projected share buyback, we did see that they have been buying back in the past 5 years around like 4.75%. I'm thinking that they'll do 2, 3, and 4%. And you know what? I'm actually going to go back on this. Let's go with 1, 2, and 3% over here. And let's see how this actually ends up. Now, with a required rate of return of 10%, not adjusting for debt, guys, this puts me for $41.55 to $51. Oh, that's a head scratcher already. Target share price after debt, $24.41 to $33.42. And now with a margin of safety of 5, 10, 15%, $20.75 to $31.75. So yeah, the current share price is $101.56. Let me put that into perspective for you. This thing needs to fall a whole lot more, like a whole lot more. But then again, if we take a look at their stock price, more specifically, guys, their graph, we could see that they were as high as $203. Well, actually going farther back, going back to April 16th, 2019, they were as high as $217.64. And even, let's just say during COVID, which is around like this area over, actually no, during COVID was like right over here. Yeah, but then again, all companies were just falling back then. Even post-COVID, around like May, a year after COVID, May 24, 2021, $201. And ever since then, guys, it has just been collapsing. So very, very interesting seeing that their peak so far was at around like the $217, $218, $219 over here on April 23rd. Seeing the fact that this thing has fallen from $219 all the way down to $101.56, a lot of you may be like, it'll never fall there. Guys, they just got rid of their consumer segment and they're getting rid of their healthcare segment. And on top of that, they have a ton of litigations that they're still fighting. And one of those litigations is still going on today to 2023 with new allegations as well. So it's just an entire thing. I personally think that, yeah, this is more of a reasonable share price over here. Maybe around like the $27, $25 mark, I would say. But as it currently stands, this is a major, major drop. And this is just based off of my assumptions, guys. If you guys put anything here, well, you're probably going to get different answers. Again, none of this is financial advice. Every investment is the present value of all future cash flow. So I have all of these calculators available for free, as well as everything that you guys saw in this video, every article, all the earnings report you guys are going to get linked in the description below. Please read it for yourselves. Please do. Because maybe you'll see something that I didn't. Maybe you guys want to look for something that I didn't look up for. So at the end of the day, guys, please do your own due diligence when it comes to this. You know, this was a fairly lengthy video overall. And I think I did a pretty good coverage when it comes to the company as like a deep dive. But again, I may miss some stuff. If you guys know something that I may not, or if you guys notice something in their 10K that I may have skipped or something like that, please, this is why I highly suggest you go over their 10Ks. Again, the link will be in the description below for you guys to read. Or if you guys want to go over their 2021 10Ks, you can do that as well. I will have that. I pretty much will have the whole entire webpage linked to all of their 10Ks, so all of their annual reports. So that way you guys can click on whichever one you want. And this is why, guys, I'm giving all of this out for free. The link, once again, is in the description below for the all calculators video. You guys can have the discounted free cash flow, the revaluation one, the book value one, and even the dividend tracking sheet. So you know, you guys have all the tools to make good, sound financial decisions. So all we're asking for in return, guys, is just like, subscribe, comment. It really does help with the algorithm on YouTube. Thank you so much for everybody who have subscribed, comments, likes, just does all of that. It really, really does help. And the best way, again, that you guys can help us is just by like, subscribe, commenting, and of course, word of mouth. Tell everybody about the channel, because I do plan on making this thing a whole lot bigger. So coming now into the dividends, guys, because, well, this is a major yield. 6% is massive. So putting in $5,725, again, I'm not saying to do this. I'm just saying if you were to put in this amount of money at the current annual dividends per share of $6, how much you would get? Well, $338.24 in annual dividends. That's a lot of money, guys. That's a lot of money. Now, full disclosure when it comes to this company, because, well, I do hold it. I mentioned that I do hold it before. So let me show you guys exactly how much I hold of this company. So if we put over here MMM, we can see that I own around 16.87 shares for a total amount invested of $2,537. In fact, let me actually zoom in on this a little bit more to see if maybe you guys could see it. Maybe I can't do that. No, I'm so sorry, but I cannot do that. Regardless, $2,537, and my average share price you can see here is $150.32. So, and as you guys can see here, I am down $823. Quarterly, they're paying me around $25.32. Now, the whole thing with this is that I'm personally not certain of whether or not I should actually keep this company because, well, you can see that they do have a lot of problems. So just because, guys, they have a massive yield, please do not, buy into a company just because of a dividend yield, because as I said, they may actually cut this dividend fairly soon, assuming that they cannot subsidize it with the revenues that the two remaining segments can actually cover. And of course, lastly, looking at the options chains, not surprised that this company has a lot of liquidity. First of all, expiration dates is weekly, and looking at the April 14th expiration, guys, when it comes to, well, obviously by the time you guys see this, everything will have changed, but when it comes to the put side, we can see that for a strike all the way up to, I would say, like $98, that's a pretty good premium of around $32. Looking at the call side, if you guys wanted to sell this call, if you guys had 100 shares, like a covered call for it, you get a decent amount at around like the $103. So if you guys bought this thing at around like $101 or so, and you put in like 10K, and you wanted to sell like a covered call for this company for 100 shares for $103, you would make that difference, as well as $71 in options premiums. All in all, everybody, thank you so much for watching. This was a deep dive when it came into the 10K for 3M, hour-long video. Again, I will have this segmented, or anybody who doesn't want to watch the entire, 10K reading part or whatever, that's fine. You don't have to. But just understand that it is in your best interest to do so, because, well, I wish I would have done that when, let's just say I wish I would have read their 10Ks or even their earnings report back when I originally put money into them, because, well, unfortunately I didn't back then because I didn't know anything about what even a 10K was. So now I know. Whoops, made that mistake. Oh well, it is what it is. Nonetheless, though, still isn't a lot of money as opposed to like the other ones that I have. So we'll see how this goes. Maybe I'll end up selling them. Maybe I'll just hold on to them and not buy any more. But as it currently stands, this was a deep dive on 3M. But anyways, guys, that pretty much does it for this video. Like, if you like, comment, subscribe. It really does help with the algorithm on YouTube. You guys can follow us on the YouTube site. The link is in the description below. So with that said, peace out, and we'll see you all next time.